You know that feeling, right? You're on a website on your phone and you just wish it was as smooth and slick as a real app. Well, today we're diving into a technology that's doing exactly that. It's quietly blurring the lines between the websites we browse and the apps we love on our home screens.
For years now, businesses have been stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do you spend a ton of money building separate apps for both iPhone and Android, and then go through the whole song and dance of begging people to actually download them? Or do you just build a website that works everywhere, but let's be honest, often feels kind of slow and clunky? It's always been this trade-off between power and actually reaching people.
But what if that compromise wasn't necessary anymore? What if you could get the best of both worlds? I'm talking about all the cool features of a native app, the speed, being able to use it offline, getting notifications, but delivered right through a simple web browser. No app store needed.
And that's where this comes in. Enter the Progressive Web App, or PWA for short. Think of it like this. It's not just a website, but it's not quite a native app either. It's this awesome hybrid that really truly tries to pack the best features from both into one experience.
Okay, so what is a PWA, really? The simplest way to think about it is a website that's been given a serious upgrade. It uses all the latest web technology to get these app-like superpowers. We're talking about adding it to your home screen, just like a real app. It can work even when you're offline. And yeah, it can send you push notifications. And the kicker? You get all of this without ever having to go to an app store.
So yeah, these are its key superpowers. You've got things like background syncing, really solid offline capabilities, and of course those push notifications that are so great for keeping users engaged. But what's the secret sauce that makes all this possible? Well, the engine driving everything is a really clever piece of tech called the service worker. So how does a regular old website get these kinds of powers? Well, it's not magic, but it is some seriously clever engineering happening completely behind the scenes.
All right. Here's that secret ingredient I mentioned, the service worker. You can think of it like an air traffic controller, but for your web app. It's this little piece of code, a special JavaScript file, that sits between your app, your browser, and the internet. Its whole job is to intercept any request for data and make smart decisions about where to get it from.
So let's say your app needs to load an image. The service worker jumps in and intercepts that request. Now, if you've got a great internet connection, no problem. It just grabs the image from the network like usual. But if you're offline, or maybe stuck on some spotty Wi-Fi, the service worker can pull that same image directly from a saved copy or a cache right on your device. And that is the magic behind how PWAs can work offline.
But the service worker isn't a one-man show. It's got a few key partners. First, there's something called the web app manifest. That's just a simple file that tells your phone things like the app's name and what icon to use when you add it to your home screen. Then you have the app shell, which is like the basic skeleton of the app's interface. It loads instantly, so it always feels fast. And this is a big one. Everything has to be served over HTTPS. That means security is baked in from the very start. Okay, so all this tech is super cool, but let's get down to brass tacks. What does this actually mean for a business's bottom line? Let's talk about the real-world, tangible benefits. First up, the money you save. It can be massive. Think about it. Instead of building one app for iOS, another for Android, and then maintaining both of those separate expensive code bases, you just build one web application that works everywhere. We're talking about a potential 30 to 70% drop in development and maintenance costs. That's huge.
But maybe even more important than the cost is getting people to actually use it. PWAs completely remove the biggest hurdle that native apps have, that whole trip to the App Store. There's no search, no download, no waiting. Users can just start using it instantly. And because of that, adoption rates just skyrocket. I mean, one study saw an 80% engagement rate simply because there was no download required. That's a game changer.
And it's not just about getting them in the door. It's about keeping them engaged. With PWAs, you can send push notifications directly to their device, cutting right through the noise of a crowded email inbox. It's a direct line to your user, and it works. We're seeing engagement rates up to 60% higher than what you'd get from a standard email.
And look, this isn't just theoretical stuff. Take the travel company Goibibo. They swapped their mobile app for a PWA, and their conversion rate, the number of people actually booking trips, shot up by a whopping 60%. Yeah, those are the kinds of results that make everyone sit up and pay attention.
Okay, so it all sounds pretty incredible, right? But it's not a silver bullet for every single problem. Let's be real, going the PWA route does have its own set of hurdles and complexities you need to know about.
The challenges really boil down to a few key areas, from technical stuff like browser support, all the way to just people not knowing what a PWA is.
Yeah, navigating these is super important. The big one for a long time was browser support. For years, Apple's Safari on iPhones was lagging behind, which meant key features like push notifications just didn't work for iOS users. And you also have less access to the phone's hardware. Things like Bluetooth or NFC are still a bit tricky. Plus, you can't just throw any web developer at this. Building a really solid, reliable PWA takes specialized skills.
So when you weigh all the pros and cons, what should the real goal be? It's actually about something bigger than just a single feature. It's about what really defines a great digital experience today.
Because at the end of the day, a great PWA isn't really about the push notifications or the offline mode. It's about providing an experience that is fast, reliable, and accessible to every single user, no matter what phone they have, how good their internet is, or what their abilities are. It's really about building a better, more inclusive web for everyone.
Google even has a way to measure this. It's called Core Web Vitals. And these metrics don't care how you built your site. They only care about the user's experience. LCP is basically how fast does stuff show up. INP is how quickly does it respond when I tap on something. And CLS measures how much does the layout jump around while it's loading. A truly great web experience, PWA or not, absolutely nails all three of these.
So I'll just leave you with this thought. That next big app you're thinking about building, could it actually reach more people, cost less money, and deliver a better overall experience if you just built it on the open web? For a lot of projects out there, the answer is a resounding yes.